to get a good team. Like people who've done renovations before and had some kind of so-called disaster, it's usually about miscommunication between them and a team, or hiring tradies that really don't suit them or aren't great for the job. So for all of you guys that are just joining me today live for the first time, this is video 5, part 5 to our theme, this month's theme. Now, every month I'll tackle a different theme inside renovation education. So this month is all about finding a good property. If you haven't already watched it, go back into Mums and Dads, Renovators and Decorators Facebook group under guides, and you'll see all of these videos all lined up. Or join us on our YouTube channel, click like and subscribe at Renovate and Real Estate to get all the videos there. So they'll be posted in 2 places so you don't miss a thing. The reason it's good to go back and have a look at the ones that you've missed is that renovating kind of tells a story. And I really do unravel things bit by bit and put them back together so that you'll understand, so that you'll be able to do what professional renovators do. So the first thing is picking a good property to renovate. We've done a breakdown on this. Part 1 was all about deciding on the right renovation strategy for you, deciding on what it is that you need in your portfolio, a buy and hold, property to flip, something that you're going to live in, your own PPR. Like what is the timing for you? How much money do you have? What area are you looking in? All of those things come together for you to decide, what is your next right move? What do you want this property to do for you? Is it to create wealth? Is it for somewhere nice to live? The second video is all about identifying a really good location. The right location for you, but a location where there's going to be property growth, where it's going to be worth you investing your money. The third thing is doing proper due diligence on the property itself, taking a really good look at the actual property and making sure that it has renovation potential. There is no point grabbing a property just because it's ugly and assuming that you're going to make it look pretty and somebody's going to buy it from you and pay a substantial fee for that property and you're going to make lots of money. Because the truth is, that's not always a given. It's not always a given. So, you know, that's kind of the story behind this. The next thing is applying the right style to the property that you have, to the property that you've selected, and how to see and how to document that style so that you know that your result is going to be good before you actually go and hire people and cost it out. So you know that you're on to a winning look. Whether that be a property for yourself or whether you're working for a client. If you're an interior designer or you're a renovation consultant and you're working for a client, there are ways of putting together what we call a brief. So you should be doing one of those for yourself, for your own renos. If you're working for a client, you should be doing one of those for your clients. So that's all the background. Now today, I'm talking about hiring a good team, like a great trade team. It's really important that you get a really good team together. It makes renovating easy. It makes renovating easy. Finding and keeping your dream team. All right, firstly, you need to establish, but you really do need to establish, are they any good? Like these are the things you're looking for when you're out there looking for your team, putting your team together. Are they any good? Have you seen their work? Who's recommended them? Do you believe what they're telling you that they can do? Are they talking themselves up? Is their work messy? Do they not take care of the site? You really need to establish, are they any good? Then you need to establish, are they legit? Are they legitimate? Are they registered? Again, you really need to work that out. And there are ways in which you can do that. I'll talk a little bit about that further, but you really do need to know that they're the real deal, particularly if they're asking you for cash and they don't come in any kind of uniform. And even if they do, like, are they the real deal? Be really, really careful about guys that you see advertising. When trade teams are busy and you see guys advertising and they just want cash, they want to get in, get out, they're not really interested in you and you get that vibe, then I'd be questioning their legitimacy. Are they licensed? Do they have all the appropriate paperwork? Are they insured? Most importantly, are they in your budget? it's really easy to fall in love with great local trade teams. You can see them working on amazing homes and you think they're the builders for me, they're the guys I'm going to hire. And then when you get them to your place to quote, you realise that the way that they quote is way outside your budget, like what they're quoting you for and the way in which they work and they charge. So you need to start to compare apples to apples when you get your quotes. And you also need not to be wasting your time on building teams. If they're amazing, that's fine. But if they're not in your budget, then they're not for you. But more than just thinking, okay, I've got a task, now I've got to find a tradie. Like I've got some electrical work to get done, let's go get an electrician. I've got some plumbing to get done, some toilets to be fitted, let's go and get a plumber. Rather than that, I want you to really focus beyond that task and look for tradies who are going to become part of your forever team. So you're looking beyond the actual task when you're trying to hire tradies or when you actually are hiring tradies. The biggest question of all is, will you all get along? Will you get along? Do you feel listened to? The reason I love telling people to communicate with their tradies and to ask lots of questions up front when they first meet them and they're asking for quotes is that during that time of communication, you get a really good feeling for them. You get to kind of feel out whether they're listening to you. You get to feel whether you think that you're being understood or whether your opinions are just being dismissed or whether they're like not focusing on you and your needs, whether they're kind of looking around, whether they feel like, or you feel like they just want to get in, get the work done, not interested in you or what you want, and they want to get out. Like they are okay for a quick task, but they are not the trade team in which you're going to build trust and the trade team in which you're going to put together so that renovating becomes easy, so that you're in your flow, so that nothing's difficult, and so that you don't have to supervise as closely as you might have once expected. So do you feel listened to? Do you feel understood? Are you getting the inkling that you're being looked down upon? Whether you be male or female, whether you be a beginner or an experienced renovator, if you get the feeling that you're being looked down upon by a tradie, like they're talking to you as if you're stupid, run a mile, guys. When I say run a mile, I mean get them out of there and go and get a quote from someone else. If it's happened to you before, you'll understand what I'm talking about. It doesn't seem to happen to me and Brett. The older we get, I think age really helps. That's one thing, that's one tool in your toolkit, is having a few years, a few wrinkles. That really helps. It's much more difficult when you're young, but at the same time, if you get the inkling that who you're about to employ is looking down upon you, then how are you going to, how are you going to actually work with them? Like, what's it going to feel every day on the job? It's really important that you get a good vibe from the guy that you're getting your quotes from. All of the questions up front, guys, all of the communication up front. While you're communicating with these people, you're actually interviewing them. They think that they're here to give you a quote. They're actually applying. They're applying to work with you. And that's your mindset. That's what your mindset should be. Is your gut telling you that you might be bossed around or your opinions dismissed? If you get that feeling in your loins, if you get that intuition straight up, then really listen to it. Because once they're employed and once they're on site and once they are knees deep in your renovation, it is a lot harder to unravel the situation and exit them from your project. So if your gut is telling you that you might be bossed around or your opinions dismissed, that they're not the right person for you, you just listen to your gut. What is your intuition telling you? What is it telling you? Really lean in. And finding them. Here we go. Friends, family, and other locals is where I think you should ask first. Other locals, because you can knock on their door after the work has been complete and say, would you mind showing me around at the quality of work that your trade team did, whether it be builder, plumber, electrician, carpenter, whatever. Show me what they did. So you can physically look at it. While that person is showing you the physical work that the tradies did, ask them what they were like to deal with. Were they pleasant? How did they feel? What was the relationship like? How did they leave the site? Did they leave it in an absolute mess? Were they difficult? Were they great? Were they friendly? Are you still friends with them now? Ask family, friends and other locals. And if you can, actually look at the work that they've done. But ask more than, don't just say, can anyone suggest a builder? Can anyone suggest a carpenter? Like, ask questions. Can anyone suggest a builder who is likely to be someone that I would employ long-term, like someone that I was going to do more than one project with, someone that you think I would get along with? Like, ask lots of questions. Ask for a certain type. Ask people who are renovating or building right now. So friends, family, and other locals, that's great. But people who are renovating or building right now, watch the process. Go and meet the builders on site if you like. Builders need to know in advance whether they've got jobs up their sleeves. So they'll be quite happy to come and quote you on their afternoons off, particularly if you're local to the place that's been renovated or built. They're quite happy to come and quote after work or on a Saturday, or even perhaps a Sunday morning. Some of the guys will quote if they're busy. But find them and ask them while they're on site. Then you can look at their work. You can talk to them about that particular project. It really matters if you can meet them at that kind of level. So I've put these in order of my preference, and actually the way that these things work with students, what's working with them too. Hi, Diana, how are you? Hi, Penny. Okay, so online registers. I have a bit of a thing with these. They get heavily promoted, particularly high pages. They spend a lot of money on ads, so does service seeking. I don't mind them, but I don't think that that's the place to go and get somebody who you're trying to develop a long-term relationship with. I just don't think that's where you find them. You'd be fluking if you jumped into one of these places right now, and you'd be fluking it if you found an amazing tiler. Because the truth is, when builders and tradies are busy, when the work is on, they won't be advertising here, because they won't be able to even answer the inquiries, because they'll be that busy with the recommendations that they already have. So I'm not surprised sometimes when people hire these guys and say, you know, they came out and they weren't all that flash. It's really hard for tradies, because I think it kind of sends a message when they're on these sites, but at the same time, they do want to be found for work. So it's a bit of a rock and a hard place for tradies. But if you're asking me, finding your trade team and putting your good trade team together, firstly, friends, family, and other locals. Second, people who are renovating or building right at that time, so you can see their work. You can perhaps meet them on site, builders on site. Thirdly, these guys. And last of all, Facebook groups. Now, a lot of times I'm in free Facebook sites and everyone says, hey, where do I find a good builder? And people go and ask in the local Facebook group. And I say, don't do that. You'll get Auntie Ethel and Auntie Gladys and Uncle Bob saying the best tiler in this area is Joe. And Joe will be their nephew, and Joe will be out of work, or Joe will be someone that they just want to see do well. So they'll offer him up as the ace tiler of the area, and Joe might not be any good at all. So local Facebook groups, you're going to get a lot of information thrown up at you. I think probably the easiest way is to go to a local Facebook group and in the little search bar, rather than you put a post where you're just going to have to go through all these people's answers, put a little search bar and have a bit of a look at the types of responses that somebody else is sure to have asked that question before, and there'll be responses there. So take a bit of a look at the responses, and then you might be able to do a bit of Googling in the quiet without actually speaking to these people. But honestly, local Facebook groups is the thing that's suggested the most. I actually think it's the place you go to last. I think the information you get is tainted. Keeping them. You get great tradies, you want to keep them for life. Even if they charge you a little bit more than somebody else, the ease of having someone say, yes, I'm available, yes, I'll come and do your work, the ease of slotting straight into your routine, you know what they do, they know what to expect from you. It's gold, guys. And when we're talking about renovating, we're talking about speed and money. We're also talking about peace of mind, confidence, and it not being a drama. So keeping your tradies, the good ones, is really important. You don't want to be a pain in the butt. This isn't a one-way thing. You know, this isn't all about being hard on tradies and they never come up to your expectations. It's a two-way street. Don't be a pain in the bum for your tradies. Give them coffee. Be kind. When you're driving home from somewhere, call them. Hey, Johnny, is there anything you'd like me to pick up from the shop on the way back? How are you doing? Do you need anything? I'm going to be busy for a couple of hours. Do you need anything? If so, call me, ring me or text me. I won't answer your call, but text me. Like, lay out the law. Open communication is everything in building and renovating. So keep your tradies. Be nice. Say thanks. But don't just be walking there every afternoon looking for something that they've not done well, looking for faults. Also look for stuff that they have done well that makes you feel good when you come home. If the tiles are great, say thanks. Be positive, stay positive. Don't be negative all the time. Don't be looking to target their mistakes. When somebody else is viewing your property when it's already renovated and finished, they're not going to notice whether a grout line is 1/8 of an inch bigger than it should be in the corner of a room. I'm telling you now, they won't notice, particularly when you style properly. So don't pick on your tradies over things that you know aren't that important. Be kind, understand they're humans. They have days where they're not well. They have busy weekends. They have their own they have expectations placed upon them from their own families, from their kids' presentation days at school or Easter hat parades. Like, these guys work hard. Treat them with the respect that they deserve. Stay positive when you go and speak to them about what the place is like. Stay positive if there's an issue you guys have to sort through. Stay positive if you're unhappy about something. Stay positive and just focus on a solution. Pay on time. These guys work like the head honcho, tradie, boss, building boss. He will have already paid his apprentices on their designated pay date. So don't be slack when you're paying your invoices, because he's already handed that money to his trades. Like, understand his cash flow situation. If you're pleased with the job, if it ticks all the boxes, and you've got that invoice at hand, pay it as soon as possible. These are reasons why these guys will come back and work for you. They will fit you in if they're busy. They will like to come and work for you again. And if they're good, even if their charges go up $5 an hour, it's worth that $5, guys, because if they're good, there's ease and peace renovating when you've got your good team and you can keep building on it. Supply them with good facilities at your place to keep them happy and to keep them coming back. Now, most guys are self-sufficient. You see these guys up there at the local fish and chip shop getting a bite to eat. Tradies will come with their little eskies all packed, with their thermoses, because they don't know what kind of place they're going to land in. But particularly if they're at your place for quite a few days, make sure that you say, here's the toilet. It's okay. You can come in with your boots off or on, like you lay out the law. Please don't let my dog out. That back gate there, I want it closed all the time. You might even have to hang a note on the back gate to remind them as they're rushing in and out. Like, give clear instructions about your expectations of them when they're in your place, but make your place welcoming. Make sure that there is a nice clean toilet for them to use and that you clean it out at the end of every day. Make sure that there's soap and a nice clean hand towel. An old hand towel, guys, or a dark color, because they come with dirty hands, not your brand new white one. But make sure that there is a nice clean hand towel for them to use every day. Make sure, if you can supply it, there's shade or there's somewhere undercover if the weather's not so great, that there's some picnic tables or there's somewhere, or there's a chair and table, and you just say to the boss, it's okay if the guys hang here, I've set it up for them. It's okay if they use the toilet. Tell them that they can go in there with their boots on. I'll clean up when they're gone. It's like you set the expectations and the instructions, and everybody just goes, oh, okay. Now we know where everyone stands. And if you make your place welcoming, and if you be great to work with, keeping tradies, good tradies, is not a difficult thing to do. So, all right, guys, so I hope your takeaways from that were: treat tradies well, do your searches in the right places, rely on your gut feel and your intuition. If you think that they're not the right person for you, don't hire them, because once they're hired, it's much harder to fire. It's really easy not to hire them in the first place, and just be a little bit patient and diligent and go and find another tradie. Catch up on some other videos. I'd love to see you like and subscribe there. Make sure you keep in the mums and dads, renovators and decorators group. I'm always happy to chat if renovating is your thing and you want to take it to the next level, or if you haven't renovated at all and you're keen to start, call me at renovateandrealestate.com.au/call. When I say call me, book an appointment and we'll chat. Next Tuesday, same place, 12 midday New South Wales time. Bye, guys.